NSFW, amputees with robotic prosthetic arms. Have you used your prosthetic to perform sexual acts on yourself or others, and what was your experience? I both do and don't regret putting a serious tag. I see that you two developed a fetish after watching that Nicole Kelly bionic arm gif that made the front page a couple days ago. Probably too late, but I have a serious answer. Not a good one though. The skin is too much of a plastic on metal feeling for it to work for me. It's like being jerked off by a skeleton with leather skin. Go on. I knew a guy that would nub his wife. His hand was cut off just after. Maybe it would be considered after the wrist. Anyways, he had most of his forearm. Just think fisting, but without a fist. Wristing. Greetings. Fisto is programmed to please assume the position. I don't need to click on that one. Goddammit. Yes I do. The university I work at did research on this topic a few years ago, developing sex toys for amputees and para-quadriplegics. Finally, a question I've never seen asked before. This has me thinking of Fallout NV Mr. Fisto Protectron. This thread is gonna get out of hand. Oh hey, I can answer this. I work in a orthotic and prosthetic lab for a university hospital. Most people probably wouldn't use any prosthetic device around sensitive equipment. While the microprocessor limbs are a heck of a lot better than the old hooks and claw, they're still nowhere as functional as the original limb. You have to be mindful of your prosthesis as it doesn't have any tactile response. And you have to concentrate on flexing specific muscles to activate specific functions of the device. To make the process easier, there are built-in functions to assist in everyday task. Most utilize a grip assistance that will actually squeeze harder if it feels what you're gripping is slipping. So if you're not careful, you can grip someone too hard, and if they pull away, it'll grip even harder. The strength in the new hands coming out are surprisingly strong. And since the fingers are usually made of a durable plastic or metal, the pressure exerted feels stronger because the lack of give. All in all, it would be a little intimidating to use on sensitive fleshy bits. And I doubt there are many people who have actually used them for sexy times. Source. I build and fit custom orthotic and prosthetic devices. My first year of college, a friend has an amputation just before the elbow. Had a prosthesis that he rarely wore. We were both dating the same girl. He sends me a picture one day of him sticking his nub in her vagina. She's making her O face while he pretends to be attempting to pull it out. The message sent with it was dramatic reenactment of how I lost my arm. My fiancé once died and got revived by my German Hitler clone mad scientist friend in the form of a robot body. Her vagina had a vibrating function. 10 out of 10. Welcome to Reddit. Asking the questions you didn't even know you wanted to know the answer to. I'm not an amputee, but I'm a doctor. Performed a partial colon removal colectomy on a prostitute years ago. She needed a colostomy. Basically a diversion of the colon directly to the skin. I think you know where I'm headed. Anyhow, there apparently is significant demand for men desiring colostomy sex. I'm rarely surprised by anything I see at work anymore. Also not an answer to the question, but an equally disgusting doctor story. My roommate from college married a doctor. While she was in her residency, she and her colleagues noticed that one particularly good-looking guy had come in with UTIs several times in a relatively short period. Eventually, they became concerned and started asking some questions. Doctor, we've noticed that this condition is recurring at an alarming rate. What do you do for work? UTI guy. I'm a human decanter. Doctor, what's that? UTI guy. Well, I work at a unique bar. We use special syringes to inject wine into our bladders. We walk around to the tables offering different selections. When someone orders, I pull out my dick and dispense the wine into their glass. I usually have to refill at least a dozen times a night. Doctor, okay, that's definitely what is causing all the UTIs. You should absolutely stop doing that. Find a different job. It's not healthy. UTI guy. I'm a human decanter. Stefan voiced, this bar has everything. Mate, I'm sure Google can help you find the porn you're looking for. Leave Reddit alone. Serious tag is a must. I'm obviously far too late for this, but I dated a guy with one arm. His left arm ended right at his elbow. He was born like that. When I was 18 he was 28. He didn't have a prosthetic, but he did insist on putting his nub inside me. He did try and I reluctantly let him, but it was always just too big to fit in. We ended up only dating for less than a year because I, one too many times, woke up to him masturbating to vintage VHS porn on the couch in the living room, and I found a box literally full of different types of pocket pussies and dildos. I was freaked out and left. I once used an extended claw toy that I usually use to grab beer, to foreplay my girl from a distance. Someone was really into feet play. Needless to say, my plastic toes got the SUCC. Nice try. Pornhub creative team. Not exactly an answer to your question, but I've often mused on, like, in The Empire Strikes Back when C-3PO loses his legs and Chewbacca is carrying him on his back like a sack of gay gold. Like, what would it feel like if C-3PO stuck his legs up my ass, unlubricated one after the other, while a load of Ewoks watched, wanking? Do the Ewoks have normal penises or a red rocket like a dog? Needed a dick prosthetic because my robot girlfriend's vagina crushed mine. Now she doesn't get pregnant, just occasionally shits out a Raspberry Pi. I don't know what was colder, the plastic or the look from my mother when she woke up. I once bathed my overweight great-grandmother, who had lost a leg due to diabetes. She was bedridden, and being a good grandson I offered to wash her. When I was washing her stump, a wave of sexual lust washed over me like a tsunami. She kept asking me to clean the rest of her body, but I couldn't leave that stump alone. I found myself licking it, and rubbing it all over myself. Her cries for me to stop were drowned out by the pulses of the incoming orgasm. I placed the tip of her nub directly against my anus, and I knew that once I had it inside of me, I would climax almost immediately. Still, I pushed it in, and passed out from euphoria. When I woke up, my family was all yelling at me for my perverted fascinations. I'm still not allowed to see great-grandma. My girlfriend has a bionic hand. The first day I met her she told me I could ask her any questions I wanted to about her hand. After asking a few normal questions, I was contemplating asking her one more. Thankfully she knew what I was thinking, so I didn't even have to ask. Yes, I've masturbated with it, and it feels exactly how you would expect it to. Terrible. Later on she would offer to show me what it felt like, but I was too scared of it seizing up and crushing my penis. That fear lasted for a few months, but eventually curiosity got the best of me. Hand jobs from a bionic hand are awful. It's like using an action figure or something else made of hard plastic or metal. Stick to the real thing. I too saw the hot lady with the robot arm on the front page yesterday. Damn, I was really hoping to hear a real story about this cause. Now I'm genuinely interested. Instead I've found colostomy hookers, grandma's nub, and masturbating Ewoks. Domo arigato fisto roboto. How do you delete someone else's comment? Not really a prosthetic, but when my wife was a nurse, she treated a guy from one of the local jails. The guy was letting people his stoma from his colostomy bag, which subsequently became infected.